For example, like again, the COVID-19, a lot of people, they have to work from home. Do you have enough extra money to, for example, if the lockdown start again overnight, do you have enough equipment to support the staff to work from home? Do you have enough money to pay the salary, even you have no income in the next maybe few weeks or next 1 or 2 months? So the controllable costs will be the one that, of course, you can mention in the item, you can control them, right? For example, if you have a good skilled driver, you can at least manage or reduce the risks of having a car accident. Okay. However, you cannot control if you're gonna have the earthquake when you are driving. So those are the non-controllable elements that you might need to put in your budget statement there. Okay. Okay, so in the budget, you need to think about the following 4 questions. How frequently you want to budget yourself, okay? It depends on the business. For example, if you are in the retail sector, in the local corner shop, you might need to do a daily budget because you have a lot of like cash in and out for that one. Timing, you might need to think about, okay, also I do a daily check in my store. I might need to think about, do I need to do that like on a weekly basis or no? Content, what kind of content should be included in your budget? Now, different business, you will have different focus, okay? Like for column, you have the like online learning. So pretty much you will pay a lot in terms of the software license, PC equipment, but you might pay less in terms of the rent for the premises for the offices. If you are in a business that you have to have the warehouse, for example, like Rachel, you have a lot of things to store, then you might have separate items in your budget plan, right? And then for the last one, review process actions. So this one, you need to have like a timely manners to review your budget plan. So do not wait until, for example, after 1 year. I just realized that something I could have corrected half years ago, but I didn't do so. It's always good that you try to track your projects and then do that maybe, depends on how busy or how frequent you can do, monthly basis, a quarterly basis, to see if your business is on track of whatever you budgeted for. If not, make a change of your budget, okay? Remember, it's just a written document, but as a human, we are flexible, we are live, okay? We can always change as long as it's good for our business. We talk to our business partner, we make a change to make better, okay? Okay. So that slide is like what I said. You make a timely change and you always feedback to track if you are in the right direction. Okay. And then this one, I need to share you the budget. I'm not sure all of you have seen the example I showed to Rachel, but I need to share with you again. Okay, if you can all have a look at this budget statement, I've already sent this document to Lizzie as well, so you all will have a copy of this. I would say for those of you who haven't ready for your budget statement or your forecasting for the next few years, this is a very good start, okay? It has some documents, it has some formulas in place. So hopefully once you insert the data, it will do the calculation automatically for you. You can do 1 year, 2 year, even 3 or 4 or even more, okay? But let's start from the year 1 first. Here are the basic items. I would highly recommend you to think about that. And then you can start adding or minus some of the items that's related to your business nature. And then you also need to think about, think about the business circle, okay? After 1 year, where you will be for your business. Then for the second year, you will start thinking, if I do the expansion, Am I going to change some of the figures or some of the items in this budget statement? Okay, and if you're going to do so, make sure that when you do the writing, you're going to describe, you're going to present your data plan to the investors, right? You're going to talk about that year one up from January to maybe to July. That is what in your thought. In August, if I reach the users for 2,000 people, I'm going to make a step ahead to do another thing, etc. So the figure, if it is a fixed cost, okay, I'm happy that you stay constant for all the items. However, if it is only like a variable or not, or like a new items, you must like make it more specific. Okay, you must make a change. Otherwise, it's very easy and simple for me to insert the data, but the meaning of that is not that meaningful at all. All right, so this is very straightforward. It looks quite easy, right? But when you try to start thinking about the price of each items, it's gonna take you maybe a few days to think about that. So that is the one I want to share with you. You can use that one as the example. And then let's go back to the slides. So that is the one. And then the pricing, how do we know how much to charge the customer? So for this one, anyone want to share your view? How do you set your price?
Look at the costs that you've got to cover, look at the market average.
That's a very good point. And actually it's a very basic point as well. Some of the people, they just look at how much the price is in the market first, look at their competitors, how much they charge them first, without looking at the total costs for your own business. Now you have to bear in mind the competitors that you compare with. It's better to be like in the same scale, same stage of your business as well. You can't compare to a small business, to, for example, Apple, to Argos. You can't compare because they have a better bargain. They have better negotiation with the suppliers. Of course, they can reduce the price down, right, compared to you. So Maria has given a good example. You're not just about checking the market price, but also your total costs of your own business. Great. And also be prepared as well. Everything is hard to start from the beginning. So sometimes you can't expect to make a profit immediately. You might also need to make a little bit loss because you want to create some discounts to attract more users for your business first. But you have to think about up to which point you have to stop. And then you have to think about, I need to start making a profit once you build your reputation in the market. Okay, so here are some of the ways that you can think of, but we've already mentioned about that, so well done, you guys. Okay, so now the next one. Would we continue to sell if the prices fell below our costs? What is your opinion?
No, usually.
No. Okay, why?
Because then you're running your business at a loss and you're likely to be insolvent.
Well done. Anyone have different opinions? Or you all agree, if we continue to sell, if the price fell below our costs, I would just stop. Okay, no one said anything, so I assume that you all agree with Matthew.
It might be.
You're right. Sorry.
I know a lot of, speaking generally, a lot of startups run at a loss from just because they had investment. So because they have a large money pool, even though they might be selling at cost now, that large money pool allows them to progress into the future so that they don't have to sell a loss. And they're expected to learn a lot more in the future.
Okay, so
it's
Colin
really
is
common
saying
with the big online things.
Yeah, I understand. So what Colin says is, I want to sacrifice my current profit in order to have a better future. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. So now, again, as I mentioned, you must set a threat point. Maybe at the beginning, yes, but if it continues falling down your price, then just don't go that, you have to stop. There is another way I'm thinking is depends on your business nature, okay? You might have many different projects in hand. So for example, you have 4 or 5 projects in hand. Then you might say, okay, I can have one of the 4 projects to make a loss in order to attract more customers to use my service. But for the other 3 projects, they must make a project or at least break even. Okay, so you can think about these different plans to be flexible. But as Matthew says, if you can't see the future of keep dropping the price, just stop. Because at the end of the day, you have to pay back whatever you invested. You have to minimize the costs from your investment as well. All right, well done. Okay, so this one, the session 4, I don't think we're gonna go through them a lot. I would just let you guys to read the slides. It's basically, it helps you to appraise your projects. Like if you invest, let me see. Yeah, so if you invest in a project, how long you think it's gonna be paid back? So for example, you got like 10 grand on your project. After maybe 3 years or 2 years, you can pay back. So we call that as a payback period, okay? So this is quite a simple, straightforward method. However, there were many other, so I will let you to have a look at the exercise later at home. However, there were many other things that you need to also think about is the net present value. So when you deal with the actual business, you will come across with the concept discount factors. Okay, so discount factor, we don't need to calculate about that. It really depends on the option you choose. Is it 10%, 15%, or whatever is the negotiation with your within your sector? Okay, then you will see that the cash inflow, cash outflow, and the present value for different years will be different as well. So you might not need to go in that level of your calculation for now, okay? But here is just the information for you to know, okay? But you are only doing the forecasting at the moment. So don't worry about that. Just take those extra slides for your future, because I always hope that you have a successful business plan. And the last one is the ratio. So the easiest ratio I would like you to learn is the growth factor. So after your first year budgets, think about the net profit. And then when you do the budget for the next year, what is the net budget? Is it growth or decreased? Okay. And what is the percentage for the growth or the decrease? And then after you've done the calculation, what actions you need to do as an organization or as a business partnering team. Okay. So the ratio you can compare with your competitors, with the market, or with your historical data. So for example, if you want to prepare a 3 years forecasting statement, then you can actually compare to yourself and you can predict where you're going to be after 3 years. So some of the basic one will be the gross profit ratio, okay? What you expect, the ratio for the gross profit. And of course, the higher the better, okay? But you must understand as a beginner in the business, you will have a very low ratio for that one. Try not to make negative, okay? You try not to make a negative. At least break even. That's the ideal for you. Okay, and the net profit margin as well. Okay, so this one is to consider how well do you manage your total costs. Okay, so after you've managed your total costs, how much left for you to reinvest to your business or even pay back to your shareholders like your business partner. And then also the return on capital employed. So if you understand all those items and if you can calculate them correctly, you can easily calculate those ratios. You might not need to do that now, okay, because it's in a very early stage, but those are the information for you to understand, to learn as well, after your business has become more stable. Okay, and then also the liquidity, okay, how vulnerable of your business as well. Remember, for the companies in the London Stock Exchange, all right, especially the FTSE 100, the FTSE 250, the debt ratio, which is the liquidity, most of them, they're more than 45%. A lot of, for the large organization, they know how to play around with the debt. As long as they use the debt to invest into some good projects, we call that a good debt. Okay, and because they are quite reputable and they're listed on the London Stock Exchange, normally the bank or even the other institutions, they will lend their money. But for you guys, I would like you to keep your debt minimal to start with. That could reduce your risks as well. Unless you got £1 million in your saving account, you say, even I make a loss, I'm fine with that. So don't do that if you are not in that situation. All right. So that is very important. You have a big picture. Now I'm talking, I've introduced a lot of concepts to you. Maybe it's a little bit overwhelming, but all those ones are important for your business. Okay. So this slide is just like what I say, looking at the wider business. Okay, you might focus a lot about your own business before, but I hope after today's session, it's like you have like, wow, so much, and wow, too much. So I hope after you have this session, come back and look at this material from time to time. Different stage, once you come back to this material, you have different thoughts. All right. So the last few questions I want to ask you, what do you need to do differently? What further information or training do you need? And where do you think you can find those supports? Okay. Okay, so the later one. Okay, the later one. Okay, Daniel says that, oh, it's too much. I know, 3 hours is very intense. But well, you're not the only one. You know what? I taught from 9 to 12 o'clock, and I had a meeting from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And I only have 1 hour to prepare everything and then to have my lunch. So we have a very tiring day, but I'm 100% sure you will find the session is useful today. All right. So any questions from you guys? Or maybe you can share your thought. What do you need to do differently after today's session? After you see all those 100 slides.
Yeah, can I ask, are those slides available for us to access somewhere, please?
Yes, you're right. I shared the slides with Lizzie already.
Ah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any other thoughts from the people? What did you do and what would you do differently after today's session? Any thoughts?
Yeah, we just need to be aware of everything going out and everything coming in. That's the main crux of it.
Yeah, you're right. But the simple way is make sure that you have a lot of income, you have less expenditures, then you will have a lot of profit. Okay, so if the rest of you do not have any questions, then that is the end of the session today. So thank you so much for your time and effort.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask
Thank you so much.
Okay, you have a question to ask? Yeah, tell me.
I was just going to ask, is there any good resources to learn how to keep the books, essentially? Like how to take the measurements of all of your incomes and outcomes and be able to calculate it? And what software would it be, like Microsoft Excel, essentially, to use to do all the calculations on?
Yeah, so for a lot of organizations, they use Sage. I'm not sure you've heard about that. They also use Xrow. Let me just check. I think it's called Excel. Oh, sorry, I typed it wrong. It's called, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's Xrow, and you can also use Sage as well. So all those softwares, you need to purchase the license. If you wanted to learn how to use these softwares, I'm sure there are some instructions videos on YouTube for you to follow. Those two softwares, they're very easy, like the smart software. You just need to follow the item, build the items that you need for your business. And then every month or every day, you can just insert the data. And then at the end of the year, it will generate a report for you.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. So please have a look at those softwares. To be honest, it takes time to learn. And that is why a lot of business, they prefer to recruit. Yeah, you're right, the extra is at 0. Yeah, they prefer to recruit the external accountant to do the job for them as well, to save their time. So think about this in your own situation.
All right, thank you.
No problem. All right, so if you don't have any questions, that's it for today. If you have more questions, you know where I am. It has my email address. You can also contact Lizzie for more information. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I see somebody adding me already. Yeah, okay. So Lizzie, would you like to say something before we say goodbye?
I will put all of the resources onto our Facebook group or send you by email, so you'll have everything tonight. And just a big thank you to you. It was a great session, and thanks for coming on to the Fuel programme. It was great.
All right, really nice to meet you. Please keep me updated of your business, okay?
Yeah.
I hope you have a successful business journey.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Xihui.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Lizzie, can I have a quick chat with you, if that's all right?
Who's talking?